Welcome to another episode of Port Charles Chat. I'm Mom.
And I'm Brandon.
Thank you so much for joining us today. This week we're discussing the week of December 9th through 13th. Are you ready, Brandon?
I'm ready as you are.
All right, it was another exciting week for us here in Port Charles. First of all, I'm going to go, Brandon, we're going to go back and forth against to talk about the storylines of the week. Let's hit one of the main storylines that happened, and that is Drew and Willow. Um, Drew and Willow have been exposed to all of the Quartermains, figuratively and literally. And so during a Christmas holiday function or a party, a football game was on, and then all the Quartermains went back and forth around who was actually going to stream the video. And Michael ended up doing it. It was very innocent. He went in to stream the football game for them. And when he cast it to the family, Tracy got a little upset because she didn't want a football game on. So she messed with his phone. And then the next thing you know, we have a scene of Drew and Willow together with the nanny cam. Everyone was there except for Jason and Lois, but that includes Carly, who was there, Sasha, Drew, Willow. The children weren't there, but Jocelyn, Trina, Geo, Brooklyn, Chase, they were all there. And boy, was everyone mad. They were all mad at both. It was very equal whether or not they were mad at Willow or at Drew, more so at Drew, but Carly was very upset with Willow. All right, Brandon, what were your thoughts when you saw this?
I wish Jason was there.
I wish Jason was there too, and I even wish Lois was there to go along with it. Ned, I forgot to say that Ned was there. It was just funny to watch the reactions of everyone. Of course, the Quartermains, who sort of knew something was going on but didn't know all the details, they I think they kind of got a kick out of it and kind of laughed. Ned, actually, I thought it was interesting they brought in his past history with Monica. But he was telling the truth when he said he didn't know Monica at the time when all of that occurred. But the look on his face and as he spoke to Drew, Tracy got a big old kick out of it. Um, you know, Carly was as upset as ever at both of them. So it was just, it was fun to watch. And at the same time, I'm so happy they did this early rather than later. Because I was very surprised that they tackled this early. I would have thought they would have waited to, the General Hospital. It would have been 6 months from now, and then it would have popped up. But so I was happy to see that they kind of tackled this head on. All right, Brandon, your thoughts?
Yeah, and adding to what you were saying, I do wish Lois was there because it hadn't hit me until you mentioned it. That she was also one of the people alongside Carly that had absolutely no idea. Nobody would tell her anything, and so I wish Lois was there. And I hope that even though she wasn't there, I hope that we get to see her reaction at some point.
Yes, and when Jason finds out, that'll be a little interesting too.
But yes, and I thought probably the most interesting reactions. One you mentioned, Tracy Quartermain. She was just like, "Oh, I want to see this." When Drew demanded everyone to shut it off, and I like that Tracy's like, "Well, this is my house, my rules." But the other reaction, I think that was noteworthy, was Nina's.
Yeah, Nina had a very interesting reaction because she did. I can't remember if she knew about them being together, but she, of course, knew about the kiss, and Nina has her own reasons for not for Willow not finding out about she and Drew herself. And so Nina's reaction was that they needed to leave town and need to leave town really quickly because it was the Quartermain family and Willow would never have access to these children ever again if they were to realize that she is thinking about leaving or even fighting for any type of custody.
But they can't outsmart Carly.
Nope, Carly was right there at the door, ready to have some words with them. So that was one of the storylines that took place this week. The second storyline that was shocking that was really shocking was Dex. Dex is another person who apparently has gotten digitalis, or at least that's what I'm going to assume anyway. So this is the so he has been affected and he has now died. Dex earlier that week actually was a witness to a potential fight between two football teams, meaning between Llanview versus Port Charles. And he broke up the potential fight or a little bit of the fight that was occurring. And he was in the park when this is happening. He went to go throw out alcohol that one of the players from the teams had. And when he did that, someone came from behind him and actually stabbed him. He was Although he was stabbed, he was not seriously injured. He was supposed to make a full recovery, and he was supposed to have surgery, and he did have surgery just to stitch him up, and he made it through the surgery just fine. It was in later scenes that we saw later this week that that they were performing CPR on him, and that he did not make it, and that was told at the end on Friday. Jocelyn was there at the very end to hear this. But that is what we found out about Dex. Where I will say I was surprised that Dex's character was picked, but at the same time I wasn't surprised. What were your thoughts, Brand?
Yeah, so I thought it was really interesting the way that they did it. I mean, like you were saying, I'm not 100% shocked, but I'm surprised that they almost did it this quickly. Like they didn't push this to like a next week, for instance, because yeah, we just like with Sam finishing her surgery, and yeah, she was supposed to make a full recovery, and then immediately dies. We have Dex, yeah, who was given the second chance, so to speak, has largely healed up. He's watching the football game, and then he's dead as well. And so, yeah, I'm a little shocked with sort of the timing of it. In the sense that they had made a big deal about how he wanted this to be a special Christmas. And so, I don't know. I kind of thought that we were going to at least get him into the Christmas spirit a little bit more, or have entanglement with Molly first.
Yeah, and that is what I'm missing is the he and Molly had a nice connection, and I was kind of hoping they would follow through with this connection. So that is what I will miss with Dex being gone. I kind of wish they went through with the Molly. But since they didn't, I do feel sorry for Jocelyn because this will be the second gentleman who has passed away with her, and she's a young person. So, that part I am sorry to see.
But they were together earlier this week, though.
They were together earlier this week, so I don't know if that means there is another child on the way. I don't know, but that like I said, I was shocked, but then not shocked that this happened. Once I saw that he was stabbed and in the hospital, I was like, oh gosh, they're going to do something to Dex, and I was right about that. Um, but anyway, so that was another storyline that occurred. The next storyline that occurred, I was kind of amused by, and that's Ava and Rick. Ava and Rick had dinner together this week, and they did meet Sonny, not by choice. Sonny just happened to be at the restaurant with Natalia, and he did. They did meet up and they did exchange some words, but they went off to go have dinner by themselves. And when they went to go pay, and it was an expensive little bill, neither of their credit cards, checks, whatever, did not go through. And so Lucas had to come and save the day for them. I found this actually more entertaining than anything. All right, Brand, your thoughts?
Okay, I love this, and I was so amused by it. And honestly, for Friday, I mean, there was a lot happening in Friday's episode. This was probably my favorite storyline going through, just because I mean, that was just pitiful. And yeah, Rick was trying to charm Ava up until the time of your check bounced. I don't know if I the demeanor of Rick changed from "I'm delighted with you" to your bill didn't go. I'm kind of disgusted. And I want to leave.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then, like I said, Lucas had to rescue them, and Lucas kind of, well, Ava did invite him to stay. I mean, he did pay for their expensive meal, and Lucas sat on down and did it. And so, on the other hand, I'm happy that Lucas found some more family. Sorry, it's Ava, but I'm glad Lucas is bonding with someone else in his family. Alrighty. Next, we go on to Trina and Kai. And basically, they just talked about their project. I mean, that's all it comes down to it. I'm sure there will be some significance later with all this project and things like that. But I just did want it out there that they did have a conversation. And Trina did see him at the football game later. However, it all came down to this project and how they want to work together. Brand, do you want to add anything to that, or does that kind of work out for you just with that?
I mean, it kind of stands alone, although I will make a note that Trina somehow managed to make it past security using Geo's all access pass from doing the national anthem.
Yes, yes, of course. Um, and then the next storyline is Lulu. Lulu basically, Lulu in a nutshell wants to find Charlotte, and she would do anything in her power to find Charlotte. So she goes and she breaks into Windermere. Um, and while she is there, Dante kind of sees her, and Charlotte goes around and finds probably this one box of clothes that's left over. And I guess she's going to find a clue from there. I don't know. But regardless of that, Charlotte wants to find, Lulu wants to find Charlotte. In the midst of all this, in her effort to find, she has conversations with Nina, Dante, Carly, and Brennan all this week, asking about Charlotte. Bran, anything that you'd like to add to that?
Not really per se, although I thought Dante was on some leave of absence. I don't remember him just showing back up, and they can just break into castles on an island now.
I guess so. Cassadines are related to everyone, so I guess they can just break on into to any place that they want now. I do want to say that Lulu did have an interesting conversation with Carly and Brennan, and her little personality came out during that time period, which I was rather amused by. All righty. Next storyline, Anna, Martin, Jason, Spinelli, and Carly. All together, Anna and Jason kind of hold Martin captive to try to find out if he knows anything about Valentine and Charlotte. Martin swears up and down he does not know a thing. They take his phone, they look at it, and they try to find some clue. They found a little something, and something happening with Switzerland. And that is all we know about that, because they kind of left us hanging. All right, Brad, anything that you'd like to say about that?
I mean, are we sending Jason to yet another adventure with? I mean, at this point in time, I mean, what's the point of having everybody else? But nevertheless, I find it amusing that out of everyone to hold captive, that they picked Martin.
Yeah, I guess Martin seems to be the innocent one in all of this. And poor thing, he kept saying, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. And I don't think Martin does know anything. But they did find something on his phone to kind of help them. And yes, I guess that means Jason's going to go off to Switzerland. I wonder who's going to go with him. Maybe Anna. Who knows? All righty. And last thing that we discovered, and it's just really a sentence, we discovered that Brennan actually has Valentine's phone number. It is of course, I forgot the type of phone. Of course, it's
Burner.
a burner phone, but thank you, Brandon. It is a burner phone that she does have, but that's all that Brennan knows is that all that we know is that he can reach Valentine if needed. Valentine's not necessarily pick it up though. All right, Brandon, those are all the main storylines in my eyes that happened last week. Did I leave anything out?
I think for the most part that covers it at least until our superlatives.
All righty. So let's talk about performers of the week. Performers for the week. For me, I think it is, well, I have two performers of the week, and I did leave one out, and that has to do with Curtis. Because Curtis had a conversation with Jordan in regards to, and Jordan and Portia, in regards to his role with being a CEO of the company. So performers of the week for me, that leads me to that. Lulu for me is still the performer of the week because I kind of like how the way she's kind of, I like the way they've done her character. And so the way she spoke to everyone, I kind of was amused by. I am disappointed that she has not had a conversation with Maxie. She did, but not a real conversation. They just happened to be together, happened to meet up. But Lulu for me is still the performer of the week. But then when I thought about when I just mentioned Curtis, I think I kind of like Curtis too for this week because his little personality is coming out too, where he's wants to do something. with the whole Drew and Michael storyline. He doesn't, I don't, he said he's kind of thinking of something, but I don't think it's really fleshed out yet. All right, Brandon, who do you think your performance of the week are?
Yeah, so I had to put a lot of thought into this, and I really like your choices. And so, obviously, I think Lulu, I mean, is self-explanatory. One, I mean, yeah, for all the different scenes that we've seen of her, I will admit that even though this doesn't per se change my answer of Lulu, um, seeing her at Windermere, I think was kind of probably the most just scene like I've seen of the new Lulu.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I mean I get it, but I don't know if that was really necessary for us to get into that. But I actually had two sort of runner ups.
Okay, who did you choose, Brandon?
Okay, so these are for different reasons than how we traditionally do our performer of the week, but I want to change things up a little bit. So the first one, I'm actually going to say Nina.
Okay, all right, why Nina?
So for me, I feel like her mannerisms this week have been really on point, and that especially her overhearing Lulu and Carly and at the Metro Court, I thought was just really amusing. And even her reaction to Willow, I think that it really just showed the emotion that she's in, and that she's in a whirlwind, especially when Drew was trying to get her to be the one that betrayed Curtis. Um, I think that she has just been able to show so much realm of emotions this week. And my other runner up is actually Brennan.
Oh, I like Brandon, so yes, that makes sense. All right, so why? Tell us why you chose Brandon.
So for me, I chose Brennan because of his conversation with Carly and Lulu. That you can tell that he's distraught. Like, as mysterious of a man he is, I think he really actually liked Carly, and now he doesn't think he can trust her. But in the same regard, he's still like infatuated with her. He still wants to help, but like with a distance. And so I think he's like a little perplexed. Like, I like this woman, but she's clearly not trustworthy and not in the way I'd originally thought.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. And then let's talk about our amusing scenes of the week. And I've kind of touched on some of these. For me, Brennan and Lulu together, I was rather amused by them because when Lulu kind of looked at Brennan and just kind of said, she's like, just dial, dial Valentine. You know, I, I was amused by that. And then, of course, Ava, Rick, and Lucas in the restaurant scene. I was rather amused by them also. All right, Brandon, did you have any amusing scenes of the week?
Both of those and All Day of Tracy Quartermain on
Yeah,
Friday.
yep. We all love Tracy. Yep. And my fast forward moment of the week, I kind of had two. I had Trina and Kai this week. It didn't do it for me. So yes, they could have. We could fast forward them, or at least I could anyway. And then the other one was, believe it or not, Liz and Lucky. I know they're trying to kind of go back in the past. This happened on Monday. I know that they were trying to go back in the past with the song and everything like that he sang to her. And oddly enough, I did remember, and I know I'm aging myself, I did remember him singing that song to Liz years and years ago. But at the same time, I did not have to watch that. So I could have fast forwarded them. I know what they're trying to do, but with the other storylines kind of going on, it was just kind of to me like the extra storyline that was there.
Yeah, so for me and both of those, yeah, I think I'm all right with them. I mean, they do seem a tad out of place for this week, but I feel like we need some sort of lighthearted moments and in some capacity, just because I feel like we've just been doing a lot. And so, as my fast forward scene, and I did have another amusing one that I just thought about, but my fast forward would actually be Lulu and Dante at Windermere. To me, it just seemed like, oh, look, we're just sitting here and we're talking in the midst of such an exciting um, week. I mean, at the very least, I was amused by the other scenes. Those ones, it's just like, it didn't seem like there was really much excitement happening there. It just seemed like they were just kind of stuck.
We'll come back to you, Brandon. When you remember it, just let us know.
Sure, well.
All righty. All right. So as for heartwarming scenes, for me, the heartwarming scene of the week for me was Laura and Martin. That happened earlier this week, and I thought they had a very nice conversation. And so I did enjoy seeing that. Martin's in just so rarely, so it was nice to see Laura and Martin have a heartwarming conversation.
Yeah, I likewise second that. And I like that Martin had no idea about the details, and when Laura told him, I thought was just great. But yeah, so definitely great scene.
All righty. And as for, I'm adding in a new one, Brandon. This is surprise scene of the week. And for me, the surprise scene of the week was the whole Willow and Drew exposed, and the fact that it was exposed so soon. I think that's what is actually for me the surprise, that it was so soon. Now I understand with, of course, with Michael, the actor who plays Michael, who's leaving, so then maybe they had to speed things up just to kind of finish this out with him. But overall, it's just because I just wasn't expecting it that soon. All right, Brandon, did you have a scene that surprised you this week?
Yeah, so I'm going to do this in two parts. So first one, the amusing scene I had mentioned earlier was actually when Sasha had picked up had her tablet with the prenatal vitamins, and Carly went over and it's just like, oh, like who's pregnant? And Sasha's like, oh, no, this is just an ad, and Carly's like, oh yeah, I get ads all the time, and it just sort of blows past it. And so I'm curious as to if that will come back to Carly's memory and be like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Carly will, of course, remember this.
Oh, unless because she is so out of the loop with everything, unless she thinks because Sasha is Willow's best friend, if she thinks that Will is pregnant with Drew's kid.
Yep, that could be true too. Yep, so that'll be interesting to see. And then,
But
what's your other surprise scene?
so my surprise scene, um, for me, this is remind what was yours again?
Mine was Willow and Drew exposed so soon.
So for me, my surprise scene was actually when Jason went to kidnap Martin, just because like that whole thing was so unexpected. I would have expected like Cyrus to show up or maybe somebody along that lines, but never did I think it'd be Jason and Anna.
Yeah, I know. Yes. And then we've got another detective, Brandon. So for me, this another new category is there's another detective in town, and that would be Felicia. And this week, and for a week that I didn't anticipate being very productive per se in storylines, I thought they did a really good job of storylines this week. But Felicia happened to be there, and although did not witness Dex being stabbed, she was in the vicinity of the area, and she's kind of doing her own detective work. And so all that to say that we have a new detective in town, and that is Felicia. Brad. Of course, we could add that to, Detective Anna, Detective Jason, and Spinelli. But this is the new one for the week. Any comments about that, Brandon?
Yes, I mean that's definitely interesting, and hope she stays out of the way.
I hope so too. Hope she's not in the hospital for any reason. All right, and then actually we have to say goodbye. And this week, unfortunately, is goodbye to Dex. Not expected, but we are saying goodbye to Dex now. Were there any other goodbyes this week?
Uh, to the best of my knowledge, there aren't any more goodbyes this week.
Yes, but we can't say welcome back to Tracy.
Yes, welcome back to her, and we also did something a little bit different this week as well.
And what is that, Brand?
We got another scene of Sam.
Oh yeah, that was surprising. Yes, and we didn't even talk about that. We realized that. We learned that Cyrus is the one who actually put the digitalis into the IV while Sam was sleeping, and we got a chance to see Sam while she was there. And the way they did the shot, the long shot on there was really interesting. So that is something that they have kept secret, and we were surprised to see that.
Yeah, I was really shocked in the way that did that. I mean, Sam has been gone for over a month now. And I mean, since we have seen her in really any scenes, flashbacks, or anything. So the fact that we get I know that this is a flashback, but it is a new scene of Sam, over a month later. makes me really intrigued because I did not anticipate them showing her again after they wrote her off. And so I'm curious if this is the last time we're going to see Sam, because to me, there at least is one more thing in my thought.
Okay. Yeah. And so that'll be interesting to see if they've pre-taped some other scenes with Sam in it that, of course, we have not seen yet. So hopefully there are. I do remember reading where they said that there was scenes that were taped. But I kind of thought it was referring to really things that we've already seen at this point. So yes, so that'll be interesting to see if they have any other pre-taped scenes, and it shows a different side of Cyrus. I mean, we know that Cyrus does do this, but he has been quote unquote good per se for quite a while, or at least perception of. So so it'll be interesting to see how they kind of wrap this all together. And is he the one who is doing everyone else, or did he really just only do Sam? All right. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, especially in regards to Dex, because I feel like it's very obvious that Cyrus potentially took down Dex, but because we had already pieced together everything, we already saw that he took down Sam. At that point in time, why would they not have just shown Cyrus being the one to take down Dex? That would seem to me too obvious. Not to say that they're not going to do that, but because he was right there. But to me, that seems a little too easy. So I'm curious to see if there's any potential twist here. But I don't know who
Yeah.
else would be there aside from Felicia.
Well, and there was that new officer that was there who could be paid by Cyrus. Who knows? All right. And then we have the Where Are You? And for me is where did Lois go because I missed her this week. And then and where's Cody? Because Cody would have been invited to this function. And so, where was Cody during all of this? Did you have any Where Are You moments?
Yeah, definitely both of them. I really wish I were at the party, and I don't think I had any more in terms of this week.
Yeah, and well, someone I didn't even think about, Dante was not there, and so his Dante's reaction would be really interesting since he's the one who's the caretaker of basically all three of these children at one time. Even though their fathers are there, he's the essential caretaker, at the Quartermain Mansion. So it'll be interesting to see what he says once he finds out what Drew did do.
I would like to see the children finding out because here's the thing: even for scenes that they had not been in, they already knew pretty much everything that there was to know about Jason and Drew fighting earlier, even though that they supposedly were asleep. So I'm curious as to if if they had any knowledge of that.
Yeah. All right. And then as for next week, I look forward to the storylines with Jocelyn, and then of course with Dex, and actually then at the same time Carly too, because we know that Carly's going to be called by Jocelyn while she's having words with Willow, and so she's going to have to go and be with her daughter at some point. And that I think we saw in the preview that it looked like the funeral's next week too, which is really quick for Dex. But anyway, and then I'd like to see, of course, we have more follow up between Willow and Drew, and so I'd like to see where that kind of leads to. Those are my next week thoughts. Brandon, any storylines you're looking to forward to for next week?
It just hit me that I guess this was also the week that Christina took over a tavern.
Oh yes, it sure is. We didn't talk about Christina at all. But yes.
But yeah, definitely feels weird going a week where, for once, Christina and Molly and Alexis are not the central part of the week. They were very much in this week, but not a central part of it.
Yeah, and just to give the backstory for everyone who's listening and who stuck around this far, with Christina and Molly and Alexis, Christina is now going to be the owner of Charlie's again. She was previously one of the owners, or I should say, maybe a manager of Charlie's, and so Sunny has given that back to her, and so she will do that. And she says she's reinventing Charlie's, and that's what she wants to do. She has told Alexis this also. Alexis did let her know that, about Molly and TJ. And so and it was just kind of hinted on. So I don't know where we're leading with this big scene, but that was just the start of this conversation.
Yeah, I would personally like to see in terms of next week. I would like to see not to dismiss Christina and Alexis, but I would like to see a storyline that actually focuses on Molly's development. Just
Mhm.
because I feel like she has been taking somewhat of a backseat to Christina and Alexis, and I mean both of them have been doing an amazing job. But I would like to see a Molly week where like we get to see her like venturing around town, reinventing herself
Yeah.
as well.
Yep. That would be a good thing to see. All right, everybody. We know this has been a long one, and we thank you for joining us today. Any comments, or please let us know. And we look forward to speaking with you next week on another episode of Port Charles Chat. Have a great day, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.